unknown submarine contact in the vital area. Away the Nixie team away. Away the Nixie team away. Set general quarters. Set general quarters. General quarters, all hands, leave out of station. General quarters, all hands, leave out of station.
I just like this song. I just like to listen to it.
Yeah, it's like we go clubbing every Wednesday.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I don't know. I haven't been clubbing in like 15 years.
Well, I know one thing. At least there's no cat down here that I can find that is here to scare the living crap out of me.
Again?
Yeah.
Again?
Yes. Okay, I was here Tuesday night for,
We're getting a BZ
saloon.
story.
Yes, an actual BZ story.
Yeah.
And so it's dark because it's the saloon and it's dark when my show is on. So I turned the lights off in the studio because that's just how I like things when I do the show.
Yeah.
And so Tuesday, everybody knows that, I haven't worn pants in, I don't know, since 1970.
Yeah, you usually don't wear pants. You're usually in boxers, sometimes, if that.
In briefs.
Yeah.
Boxers, briefs,
Or your licorice thong.
Right, yeah. I wish you wouldn't have said anything about that.
I'm sorry. You shouldn't
That was supposed to be just
You're the
between
one
you
that,
and me.
You're the one
Just
that,
between you and me, okay?
You're the one that admitted you don't wear pants.
Okay, but what I was getting to is I wear shorts instead.
Oh.
So on Tuesday, Demi, who I don't think is in here because I've looked and I've called for her. So it's dark, it's in here, and all of a sudden, I just start the show, the music starts playing, and I'm about to start and introduce the show, and something starts wrapping around my bare leg down here, scares the living crap out of me, and then down here, and I don't even know if people can hear it, all of a sudden I hear, meow, 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 which means that, get your ass out of the chair, open the door, and let the cat out.
Right.
Or something bad is going to happen because there is no cat box here in the studio, but the cat is nice enough to let us know when Kitty Cat needs to go out.
Yes.
So that was BZ's Kitty Cat story. Hey, in chat, welcome to Simone, welcome to Mike, welcome to the Alaskan, and welcome, of course, to Beantown Billy. I just like saying that, Beantown Billy. I didn't even get to do the intro. And folks, thanks for listening. Thanks for being here today because we have been absent in absentia for, 3 weeks now, something like that.
What? We were just here last Tuesday.
I'm not counting. Tuesday? Oh,
Yeah.
That's right. We were
What are
here.
you talking about?
That's right. What am I
Did you
talking
forget about the election?
Yeah. Sometimes
We even had Sean here.
Yeah, sometimes I'd like to, but no, I didn't forget
Why?
about it. Yes, I forgot about it. No, I didn't forget about it.
I see. I'm not I'm not shocked by the election results at all. I am shocked at some of the shenaniganry going on with some of the races. I'm sure we will get there.
We are going to get
sure we will get there
to that.
But as I know, because I received several text messages this week asking, and these are from folks out of state, asking, hey, are you guys going to talk about the wildfire on the show? Because apparently the California wildfire, deadliest in history, so obviously our thoughts and prayers are with those that lost their homes, lost their families, lost everything they have. But I've been asked about that. Hey, what's going on with the wildfires? What's going on in California? What's happening where you guys are in Sacramento because you're so close? And so, I have my
Ooh, what is that?
My N95
okay.
respirator.
Okay.
Particulate respirator.
That's the one you pull out there, and it looks like a white mask that you see in surgery. Right?
I prefer
kind of like that.
I prefer Ninja. But if you want to say surgical mask, that's fine. I prefer a Ninja Mask of Doom.
Is it? Well, What is it, like a black mask or something?
Why has it got to be black?
Well, it doesn't have to, but I mean,
Have you not seen White? Do you
masks,
remember G.I. Joe? Do you remember
like
Storm Shadow?
The doll?
Storm Shadow was
doll?
the Cobra Ninja, and he wore white. He had a white ninja mask and a white outfit, the original Storm Shadow. So no, this is it's my Storm Shadow-esque type ninja mask.
Okay, all right. So,
Yeah.
yeah, got it.
Yeah, I mean, you could say
Good.
surgical mask.
Good
but
to know that it's made by 3M.
who wants to be a friggin' doctor when you could be a flippin' ninja?
That's true. By the way, do you know what 3M stands for?
No.
Okay, Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing.
Oh.
Just thought I'd tell you that. And they make a ton of stuff. Anyway, I
So-
didn't.
So,
Okay.
so California wildfires, and I have a bit of knowledge I'd like to drop on our listeners who may or may not be aware of something. And I'm curious. I know I bet you were aware of this, but I want to make sure.
Okay.
So, first of all, wildfires are still going on. I think it's 35% contained. Last I saw.
Yeah, right around there. That's Northern California, but I don't know
Yeah.
what percentile we're
That-
talking about.
that's-
Southern California.
That's the bad one. The northern. I mean, they're both bad, but the Northern California fire has claimed almost 50 people so far.
There are hundreds missing.
There are hundreds missing, including like care facilities and so forth that have burned.
I hate to say this, but I think this is going to go into triple digits.
Yeah, I agree, and it's horrible. But in addition to the fires, the air quality is
Oh my God! Just coming over here tonight.
so the air index is actually in purple. Which, for those of you that don't know, the purple range that's past the red range. So unsafe is like 150 or something like that. You can look up the air index if you'd like. But in the like the Sacramento and in the Roseville area, which is just north of here, it is up to like 350. It hit 400 over the weekend.
It's been terrible ever since these fires started.
Yeah, and it's bad. Like immediately hazardous to health and life.
Whiskey Dale, welcome to Whiskey Dale, and he said something very important just now in chat.
He better not.
Because next week here in Sacramento, we're supposed to get rain. And what he mentioned was rain and mudslides are next.
Yes.
And historically, especially in Southern California, mudslides are absolutely endemic down in Southern California,
yeah.
particularly following wildfires just like this.
And along the coast also. It's going to be yes, it will be. But here is in addition to the health concerns with the smoke, I mean, this affects tons of people. But Trump tweeted something, probably not the best time to tweet it, but it doesn't mean he was wrong in his tweet. That really, and I'm sure you have his tweet from this, but he basically said, hey, California, it's basically poor forest management that's causing your problems. Fix it, or we're going to stop your federal funds to deal with this stuff. I don't have the specific tweet up, so I'm paraphrasing. Bad timing, right? Timing probably. You could probably pick a better time to tweet something like that out. Not in the middle of while the state's dealing with this. However, his premise is true. His premise is factually correct. California environmental laws.
Yes, but there's more.
I'm not done.
Wait a minute. Hang on.
Your face.
Hang on.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Okay,
Where's my little thing? I need to put this over.
Go.
Okay.
What are you doing?
All right.
Okay.
There
cool.
you go.
There we go. So
I had to focus on you, dude.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that. So in addition to for California, you can't really clear out your underbrush.
Nope.
You can't log in a lot of areas, particularly the way you used to. So forests don't get cut back and grow. You're on your property. You really can't cut in fire lines and do things that you can that you're supposed to be doing. And you talk to orchard farmers and so forth, and they will tell you there are things you do to protect your property, your crop, your area. And in California, you can't do a lot of those things. And we're not even going to talk about the poor water management. That's a subject for another night.
If you want to go there, I have the story up here.
Well, in a moment. So let's put a pin in that one for a second, because the other issue with this is in addition to not doing these things is you have some public utilities that may or may not be a factor in some of these things.
You're being way kind.
I am, but there's a reason for it. A lot of people don't realize this. You can find a story, and I think it's on the Free Canadian or the Canada Free Press. There's a story about it. But did you know in 2016, back when the fires were happening in Napa and Sonoma counties?
I already know where you're going, but go there. Definitely.
The California State Legislature, in both houses, so the Assembly and the Senate, they passed a bill, unanimous bill. Let me repeat that. The California Legislature passed a unanimous bipartisan bill in order to deal with the wildfires. It was the Wildfire Management Bill. This was passed while it was burning. And it would have allowed local entities to take action, basically, in areas where there are power lines and facilities and so forth that are poorly maintained, have brush growing nearby, and all these things. It would have allowed local entities to clear that area away, free of any other laws that may otherwise prohibit the removal of that type.
There's a big but coming.
There is a big but coming.
And it's not mine.
It's not yours. The kicker to all of this.
Yeah, this is, you'll love this, folks.
Governor Jerry Brown vetoed the bill.
Yes. Killed it dead.
Let me repeat that. The California State Legislature passed unanimously a bipartisan bill to deal with wildfire management. And the governor of the state of California vetoed it. Now, in his if I'm remembering correctly, in his veto, he was super short, which a lot of his stuff is, but it was super short, and it essentially said the Public Utilities Commission already deals with this. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the Public Utilities Commission in the state of California, it is essentially a commission of people who are appointed, in my opinion, based on political favors, because you worked for...
Of course, it's the governorship, and it's California.
You worked for public utility in Southern California, say, and now you get to be on this commission, and it's kind of... there's really no oversight. There's really no... there's no accountability for this commission. It's in my opinion, it's corrupt. It's all favoritism, and hey, we need to raise our rates this much, and they say wink, wink.
Very, very kind.
Well, because I know you're about to lose your shit, so I'm stacking all this on, and I'm watching you spin up, and I'm watching you hold your tongue.
Is this not admirable?
It's very admirable, but I'm waiting to see how far until you reach your breaking point. Because that's why I keep looking over at you. Because I keep kind of underselling everything here.
You are doing that,
and
that is correct.
And it's driving you nuts, and that makes for good radio. Let's be honest.
Okay. All right.
So
that's correct.
Let me take the leash off. What's your response, BZ?
I almost don't know where to start, and the reason is because you were saying a lot of things, and I was just, as you could tell, I was dying to weigh in.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so let me go back and provide a little bit of an historical perspective to what's been happening to the forests here in California. And it's no secret that my wife has a house here in Sacramento, which is why it's convenient for me to come to the studio. And this is a real studio. It's not somebody's house. We actually have to drive here to do the show because we've been provided with a nice bathroom and a kitchen and nice space here, et cetera, et cetera. That's my wife. Her house is here. My house is up in the Sierra Nevada mountains. I'm at about the 4,000-foot level off Interstate 80, and I get a fairly significant amount of snow when it snows. So I am not in the foothills area. I'm in the mountain. I'm not quite in the high granite, but I'm in the mountainous area, and I'm surrounded by trees. And I have been, in 2015, just before I retired, I had to, in the span of about 5 hours, I had to try to find and score people and pickups to go back up to my house because there was a wildfire that was one canyon over from my house. If I went out to the street and looked across the canyon, there were flames 150 feet high plus that I could see that were walking up the mountain. Now, if that isn't enough to scare you shitless, I don't quite know what is. However, I had to move a bunch of stuff into the truck, empty what I thought was important to me, and try doing that and making a decision in about 10 or 15 minutes as to what is important in your life. Try to triage your life in 10 or 15 minutes. And my wife was nice enough to get a storage area down lower, and that's where I put all my stuff. And there's still some stuff that I don't have back up in my cabin. That's the third time that I've encountered wildfires up where I live. So having clearly established the fact that wildfires, because I've seen them, scare me shitless, and also in the 70s when I was working at KFBK, I was up in Placerville. I always like to tell this story. I was up in Placerville on Highway 50, and I was reporting for KFBK, and I didn't know, and no one told me that there was a plane coming over full of retardant.
Full of who?
Retardant.
You can't say that, BC.
Yes, I can, because that's exactly what it is. And folks, if you don't know what retardant is, fire retardant, when it comes out of the back of various planes, and it hits you, it drenches. Well, number one, it killed my microphone. It killed my cassette recorder. It killed me. It went all over me. It's orange. It's gooey. It's sticky.
Did they put parachutes on all of them?
It's viscous. And so I got retarded, so to speak.
Yes.
So I'm.
That explains
a lot of things, doesn't it?
When BZ became retarded.
Right, and that's in the 1970s. So I've encountered fire up in my area 3 times, and it's frightening to watch. Fire can take on almost a human persona. Fire has a noise. Wildfire has a sound. It can sound like a freight train. It can sound like a hurricane. I've heard it. It literally can create its own wind, sucking up all the oxygen around you. Dave Miller in chat says, I thought retardant was Comedy Central. Yeah. In any event, wildfire scares the crap out of me. Now let me go back to a little bit of historicality in terms of California, or Fornicalia as I call it. We have had a problem, and a continuing problem, between about 2010 and right now, where we've had about 130 million trees die in California because of 2 very important and salient reasons. Drought. We're encountering an historic drought now. It's kind of leavening off a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see what happens this winter, whether we actually get any rain, because last winter sucked for rain around here. So 130 million trees died because of the drought since about 2010, and this massive, because of the drought, droughts weaken trees. Mm-hmm. So it makes them susceptible to this insect called the bark beetle. So if the drought didn't kill the trees, then the weakened trees succumbed to the bark beetle. So when I point fingers at people, I point fingers at, yes, obviously the state of California, but I point it to BLM and the federal agencies as well. So Trump is kind of telling you a half-truth, and I think it's because Trump really doesn't know. The Endangered Species Act and the National Environmental Policy Act, 2 federal acts, they have managed to hamper tree clearing. Okay, so what do you do with all these dead trees? If you're California, operating under California regulations and federal regulations, all these dead trees that are still vertical, you can't touch them. However, after storms, winters, etc., a lot of these trees, they topple over and they become deadfall. And you can't harvest the deadfall. either. I can take you to places up near me. My damn next door neighbor, just beyond the fence, I clear my property every year. I can tell you there's a foot of loam on her property starting at the fence that I can see every day that I'm up there. I can take you to places in the forest less than a mile from me where I can show you there's 2 feet to 3 feet of loam on the forest floor. Now, folks, perhaps you're wondering what loam is. Loam is everything that falls from the trees, be it leaves or up there in the pine trees, it's needles, pine cones, and everything that comes off of trees and settles down and year after year after year, it builds up. So what I look at and what I visually see is when I look around all the trees around my property in the area in which I live, I see nothing but uncleared fuel. So these 2 acts have hampered tree clearing. You can't do controlled burns, and you can't have timber sales on federal land. Okay, California also, I need to tell you, restricts timber harvesting, and it requires an assload of permits and environmental impact statements and surveys just to prune overgrown forests. So it's such a pain in the ass that people don't even do that. Now, gotta tell you folks, this is California. Just if you want to burn leaves and tree limbs, landowners have to get air quality permits. Now, do you think that you're going to be able to, as Joe Citizen, get an air quality permit in Sacramento County? No, hell no. Not just hell no, but hell no with flaky snow powder on top. In Placer County, not so much. They have burn days and non-burn days. So now with all these federal and state regulations where there is no forest management in California. None. Zip. Zero. The null set. It doesn't exist. Now, feature, if you will, in your mind's eye. Yeah, I'm continuing on because this shit is important to me. Continue in your mind's eye.
You should put
1
the camera
decade.
on just you. This is your moment.
I guess I could, but I was busy ranting.
I know.
And okay. Feature in your mind's eye, if you will, a decade of negligence just like this. Oh, no. Feature 2 decades, if you will, of negligence just like this. Oh, no, no, no. Feature 3 decades of negligence just like this because California drought stages are cyclical. We've gone through... How many droughts can you remember? I can remember at least 10.
Several.
In California. And, of course, we've had
several.
rains and floods and stuff like that. But up in the mountains, it's the droughts and making weakened trees. There were times back in 05, 06, 07, where probably 30% of the trees that were up by me, maybe even 40% of the trees, and they clearly stood out because of that drought at that time, were dead. And you can see stands of green trees and stands of dead trees. Now, doesn't it make sense to get rid of the dead trees? No, not if you're an environmentalist, not if you're a member of the BLM, not if you're a forest manager, and I use that word incredibly loosely. Folks, let this be a cautionary tale against overregulations and enviro-fucktards in your state. After 30 years of this stuff, now I'm watching, and these people have to be the stupidest bastards in the world. And of firefighters, you should fucking know better than this, because you exactly know how the forests are mismanaged. Now, when people are, I expect the politicians to take advantage of this, but people in CAL FIRE and California firefighters, etc., that are up there are saying, oh, the fires are getting so much worse. It must be climate change. Bullshit. It must be the state of California and the United States, because this is finally, after 30 years of negligence, coming to bite people in the ass, because the only thing that's available down in Southern California and Northern California and the high elevations is fuel. California is stacked, packed, and racked up the ass with fuel. And so is it any Is it a shock that we're getting fires of incredible magnitude like this? And the answer is, if you're a thinking, walking, common sense, clutching human being, you should not be surprised at any of this. None of it. And so we also know, what do we know from CAL FIRE? We know from CAL FIRE this year and last year, CAL FIRE said that PG&E is personally responsible, that corporation is responsible for 12 of the major wildfires recently in 2018, 2016, and 2017 as well. That's official from CAL FIRE. Now, people in the Woolsey fire and the Camp Fire, and I can show you 3 to 4 stories that are already out there in the ozone. If you insert them into your favorite search engine, you can find them where people said, oh, and we told PG&E that they had some sparking lines over here. Well, the lines that were fucking sparking were the lines in the exact area that began the Camp Fire. People called that into PG&E, and PG&E has already acknowledged that they had some transmission line problems. It's the state of California, and it's PG&E, and it's the federal government that is responsible for murdering, I wager, 100 or more California citizens. And all those dead bodies need to be laid on the steps of PG&E, of the state capitol, and the federal government, because this was foreseeable. People knew about this. People were talking about this, but the environmental leftists in California would have none of it. Jerry Brown is responsible, and all those dead bodies, this is foreseeable, and it was entirely preventable. It's preventable, absolutely preventable. You cannot convince me of it, of anything else. The PG&E board should be removed immediately. Every PG&E manager should be removed immediately. And then suits should be instigated against every board member and every PG&E member, and they should be sued into bankruptcy so that they cannot afford a pair of shoes in the future. And beyond that, there should be criminal prosecutions for this. People are dying up in Northern California. People are dying down in Southern California. This shit is personal to me because I watch it and I see it every fucking day. And the thing that's absolutely irritating to me about this is I know for a fact thinking human beings could have done something for this to help ameliorate the situation, but no. And you're saying that in 2016, Governor Jerry Brown vetoed that bill that both houses in California decided this is a good bill and needs to be signed. That only tells me, and you cannot convince me otherwise, and you have to remember, folks, this is my opinion. But I fervently believe that PG&E is in league with the state of California, because now also there is a bill that helps to remove liability from major utility contractors like PG&E when they encounter wildfires like this. And no, I'm not fucking kidding you. The state of California just passed recent bills indicating that we need to lift the burden of lawsuits off of these various utilities. Mm-hmm. I'm not making this crap up. That is the truth. PG&E has now gotten to the point where they've cut my power to my house twice. The first time I lost about $100 worth of food. That was about 4 weeks ago over a weekend, 3 days, because they said due to high winds, we can't take the chance that we may have sparking wires. Well, the poor bastard down at my local store lost about $4,000 worth of food. When he called PG&E, essentially he was told to get the fuck off the phone. We're not doing any reimbursements. He's just a little guy. I'm just a little guy. I'm the customer. He's the customer. Now, this has only started now. What's the difference between now and, say, 2010? Oh, that's right. The big difference is that PG&E has and will continue to get its ass sued off, so that now, in terms of trying to stem off lawsuits, because I'm sure that's all they really care about, and begin to clip trees back, sufficient, up till now, they could get away with 3 feet of space around a power line. Well, that certainly accommodates winds and snow, etc., doesn't it? No, Not at all, not in the slightest. When you see massive towers and power lines that are up in my area that have approximately 150 to 200 feet clearance on these power towers on either side. And yet, listen, does PG&E think that maybe they should bury power lines in sensitive areas? No, that's really expensive. So, again, this is my opinion. The Pacific Gas and Electric Corporation is a murderous fucking corporation that knew exactly what was happening and didn't really much care. And then when the lawsuits came and they lost money, they decided it would be a great and wonderful thing to become punitive with their customers. So we get our power turned off. And PG&E stated quite unequivocally, fuck you, go to hell, no reimbursements for you. How would you do it in the first place? Give me all the receipts, Clint, for the food in your house when you've lost power for 3 days and everything in your refrigerator goes bad and everything in your freezer goes bad. How would you possibly do that? How could you possibly justify that? PG&E knows full well you can't. My local grocer may be able to. He's certainly got better billing than I do. Okay, I'm going to stop right now because I am about to cork off 210 over 190.
Let's take a break.
So yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to take a break. Like I say, to me, folks, and I'm sorry you've had to put up with this, but to me, this is incredibly personal. So we're going to take a break, and I'll calm down, and we'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplainstalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever,
because truth is not always pleasant.
Hey guys, it's Sackhead Clint. I'm excited to tell you about a brand new show here on the SHR Media Network. I'm teaming up with the one and only all-powerful, the bloviating Zeppelin, sitting here to my left, bringing to you a fresh new show here on the network. It's Against Tyranny, and we'll be picking up where the Sackheads left off. Excited to be with you, sir.
Sackheads Against Tyranny.
We're going to chat. We're going to chat Wednesday nights.
SHAT.
Sackheads Against Tyranny.
Wednesday night, 11 p.m. Oh, it's the same time, right? 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific.
Same SAC time, same SAC channel.
Yep. SHRmedia.com.
See what I did there?
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. It's The Right Guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The Right Guy on SHR Media.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Hey, BZ. So the plan's working. You got rid of Sacco. Sean is now stepping away.
I never even saw him.
And I know, and insidious. You know, we talked about this for, for the last 3 years, and finally coming to fruition.
You know I'm still in the room, right?
It's almost like he's here still. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's kind of...
It's amazing. It's kind of
at you.
It's kind of eerie.
Kind of a poltergeist.
Like a poltergeisty thing.
Yeah, sackheads against tyranny.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Yeah, I need a jaunty tune right about this time. And there's another thing. I need to have some caffeine to jack me up even further. So thanks for the Diet Pepsi. I appreciate that. Folks, you're listening to The Shat Show, the Sackheads Against Tyranny. And I am Sackheads BZ, and over directly across from me is Sackheads Clint.
Hello.
And so, hello. And welcome to everybody. It is November the 14th, the year of our Lord 2018. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We got Mike in chat, the Alaskan in chat, Dave Milner in chat, Simone in chat. Clint is super something that I can't read because it's cut off.
Oh, I think it says super rad. I think it says
rad.
Clint is super rad.
And Beantown Billy, and one viewer who will not be unmasked because we don't do that here. Simone in chat says, one of the homes that burned down belongs to a lady that works for the law firm. Holy crap, listen to this. One of the homes that burned down belongs to a lady that works for the law firm that successfully sued PG&E for another fire. She kept her life and her dog's litter of puppies, and that's all she got. Simone, I might suggest that in addition to walking away with her life, she also has a hell of a number 2 lawsuit that should be dropped. You know, if I lose electricity, PG&E needs to be sued essentially out of existence. There, you know, the Cal ISO in Folsom, which is the independent system operator here in California, which determines how our electricity is distributed all up and down the state. Cal ISO will figure something out because we buy electricity like crazy. When was the last time we built a dam, Clint?
Oh, man.
In California?
I think, was it the Sonoma? Was it the Sonoma Lake? The dam? What dam is that? I think that was the last one.
It's been decades.
Yeah, I think
it has been literally decades.
Is it the Sonoma Dam? I think it was the dam on Lake Sonoma.
Yeah.
I think is the last one.
And tell me the last time that California built an electrical generation station.
I can't.
I can't either. I can tell you the last time they built a water plant, a salinity plant. San Diego County, very smart of them, built a desalinization plant, and that was a couple of $1 billion for them, but very smart for the area in San Diego. And California doesn't have the smarts that God gave a goose. It reminds me of a stegosaurus. You know, a stegosaurus had a brain the size of a walnut and a ganglion of nerves in its hips to make its back legs move. But it's purposeful. And the reason I get torqued because of this is because it is all politically motivated and oriented. And all of it was preventable. And this thing is not contained. It's not contained in Northern California. It's not contained in Southern California. And folks, if this makes for bad radio, I apologize. because there's so much other stuff to talk about. But like I say, this is extremely personal to me because I've seen it. And I've seen, having worked homicide and being a cop for 41 years, yeah, I've seen a bunch of dead, burnt, crisp bodies before, all gnarled up in the fetal position because that's how you die when you get burned. And to have older folks, the elderly, found dead in vehicles, many people found dead in vehicles, it hits a little home for me. And like Simone says in chat, the air is so thick that you can chew it right now. Oh, another interesting comment from Simone. Instead of burying the lines underground after the Paradise burned down, Paradise did burn down once before in 2008. Somebody needs to seriously rename that town.
I think it burned around the town. It burned up to it. And some of the homes were burned, but they were outskirts. It didn't burn the city or the town proper. So
instead of deciding that they were going to bury the power lines around in Paradise because that certainly cleared the way for them to be able to do that, PG&E just sort of quietly returned money to its investors. And by the way, the investors, I saw this story yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, PG&E investors are fleeing in droves.
Good.
Well, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, and I really should change topics. Let me ask you right now, though.
Yeah.
Are there any Clint stories that you have in the wings?
No.
None today? Okay.
No, none. Not after that. We just had 40 minutes of pretty heavy stuff. I have no Clint stories right now for that. But I will say the voters in California, look, the people in California are so brainwashed by the left that the left will tell them it's global warming. They will 100% believe it, and they will go with that, and they will pass even more environmental regulations.
Of course, without a doubt.
And that's the insanity that is California. Any no's for news? Man, that's messed up. That's pretty funny, though. Thank you, Simone.
Oh, you're looking at chat over there?
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Cool. Great.
Yeah, I don't know who this Clint is super rad guy is, but he sounds really good looking.
Well, he is, and plus he states the truth, right? Because Clint is, in fact, super rad.
Yes, is super amazing.
Those, to me, are facts and evidence. So we got a ton of stories that we can go into right now.
We do.
Are you thinking of anything in particular?
I am. I want to talk about Jeff Flake.
Oh, God. All right. Yes.
So his little bill to protect Mueller, just because I refuse to call him Mueller.
No, I don't call him. I call him Mueller.
Failed. Do I want to talk about this or I want to talk about Nancy Pelosi? We'll talk about this first because we're already on the topic.
Okay.
It failed. And so he came back and he basically said, well, then I'm going to take my ball and go home, and I'm not voting for any judicial nominees.
Yeah, does that sound familiar? Does that sound like something he's done before?
Yeah.
To me, it kind of resonates with me, and I get the feeling that he has done this before.
Yeah. So you know what my response to this fucking crybaby is?
You don't want to hear my response, so please, yes, I do want to hear yours.
My response is, hey, you little nothing bitch. Like, fucking go home. In 6 weeks, it doesn't matter if you're going to withhold your vote or not, because it'll be a new Senate in there. We'll actually have more votes, and we'll just move the shit along then. So you'll delay it for 6 weeks. Big deal.
You know, let me back up a little bit, because I didn't realize this until today. I talked to Ron Edward today, and I'm going to have him on my show. And I said, hey, you want to be on next Thursday? Not realizing what next Thursday is. Folks, do you realize next Thursday is Thanksgiving already? The 22nd is Thanksgiving, which means, do you realize, folks, how quickly Christmas is going to be upon us?
Yes.
Holy crap. Are you prepared for Thanksgiving and Christmas? Holy moly. That blasted me away. Anyway, so what happened, folks, is that Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, what he did is he rejected the need, apparently, and I use that in air quotes, to approve legislation protecting Mueller's special counsel, the probe into the 2016 election. And he said today that there's no evidence the investigation needs protection. So That pissed off Jeff Flake. So what Jeff Flake says that we still have a ton of judicial nominees that need to go in, and Jeff Flake says, well, until I get my way, I'm taking my toys and I'm going home, and I'm going to pound the pavement. I don't know if you saw what happened today with Tom Cotton. Tom Cotton also said that if we need to, we're going to go through the Thanksgiving break, and we're going to go to through the Christmas break, if that's what we need to do to pass these judges through the Senate Judiciary.
Yeah, but if Flake doesn't want to play ball with his ball, it doesn't matter, because you can still have a judicial nominee that doesn't pass the vote in the judicial committee. It's a little bit longer process, but you can still get there. So I don't give a shit if Flake wants to withhold his votes. So it takes us back 6 weeks. These same judicial nominees are still going to be in the queue come the first of the year. So
part of the problem is this. On that panel, the Senate Judiciary Committee, the GOP holds a 1-seat majority right now. So you're right. All it takes is if they go strict party line and then Jeff Flake steps over the line, then there you go. It's the cat stuck in the toilet.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean the nominee stops. It doesn't mean the nominee cannot go forward.
No. It just means that
it means it's going to be a little bit longer process. That's it.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? So stop. If I were Mitch McConnell, I'd say, cool, we're not going to hold any more votes on judicial nominees. We know we have the Senate for the next 2 years at least.
Until you're done, until you're gone, Jeffy.
Yeah.
You made...
So here's my prediction.
You made a very interesting point on the break. Is that where you're going to go?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
I liked that.
My prediction is this. So I don't Flake, whatever. Who cares? Go. Don't withhold. I don't care. It's kind of like the House of Representatives, and I'll get to that because now that the election's over and the Dems have the House, so we'll talk about the House next. But in terms of the Senate, I've been saying this even pre-election. I don't care about the House, and I know that's going to piss everybody off in chat, but I'll tell you why here in a second. Look, Flake is a complete jackass. We know that. And so the Senate is going to push judicial nominees through. We don't have anybody like Flake in there anymore. Everybody who basically opposed Brett Kavanaugh, who was a Republican or gave a hard time, lost their bid for re-election.
They did. Thank God.
So the Republicans are in a much stronger position to get these judges through. I'm not worried about that. I predict Jeff Flake is going to run in 2020. For president. I think that if he does not get the Republican nomination, which I don't think he would, my prediction is in his hatred for Donald Trump, I think that he will run as an independent in an attempt.
I think you're absolutely right. It is a hatred. It's an obsession.
Yep. In an attempt to pull votes from Donald Trump and prevent him from becoming president. That's much like Ross Perot did, if you recall.
He was the spoiler.
He was the spoiler for the Republicans.
Yes. He siphoned off Republican votes.
And I can see Jeff Flake doing that. Now, the one saving, I don't want to say the saving grace, is this. Donald Trump has such a solid hang on a sec. Hey, Dave, I'll piss and moan about everything Congress does because it's my fucking show. So here's the thing. If he runs, Donald Trump has such a solid base that Donald Trump, I think, can win anyways. And I think Flake is such a moderate / Democrat that whatever freaking uber liberal, far ultra left wing person that the Dems run, I think that Flake will siphon some of those moderate Democrat votes more so than he'll siphon Republican votes. So I think Trump could still win, although I agree it would be harder. Now with the Democratic House, let's go back and look at history. First of all, Congress isn't going to fucking do anything, so it's not like I get to piss and moan about anything the fucking new Congress does, because even if they do something, they're not going to be able to freaking get anything through. We know they're going to hold investigations ad nauseum.
It'll be never ending now.
It's going to be a little. It's going to be, some of the stuff is going to be ridiculous, and it's going to be a complete waste of taxpayer dollars, and I can absolutely bitch about that because it's true. But what it's going to do is it's going to strengthen the Republicans for 2020, and here's why I say that.
Yes, I'm if you're going where I think you're going, I'm on that bandwagon.
Okay, so you look at what the Republican Congress did with Bill Clinton, what the Republican House did with Bill Clinton. They did investigations, they served subpoenas, they had a special counsel, they did all these things.
Yeah,
and it pissed people off.
It made a massive torque.
Not because Clinton was not a personally in his personal life, because he was not a dirtbag, but because he was the president of the United States, and they felt that the House was wasting time and money and not doing their job. And the Republicans were thrown on their ass after that, if you remember, because the Senate didn't convict Bill Clinton. They impeached him. Bill Clinton was impeached, but he was never convicted because the Senate failed to convict him.
Correct.
And they failed to convict him with the help of some Republicans. I think John McCain was one, if I'm not mistaken.
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know, but I would be less than surprised.
So that the Dems are going to come, and they're going to have a ton of investigations, and you look at the far left lunatics who are in charge of some of these committees, and they're going to issue subpoenas, and they're going to harass the president. There's not going to be any, unless there's a tragedy or something, there's not going to be any legislation passed. For the most part, they may get some things through, maybe, I don't know. But for the most part, I don't think they're not going to do anything productive.
How much actual governing are they going to do?
They're not.
They're not.
And that's the point. They're going to be zero governing from the House of Representatives for 2 years. It's going to strengthen the position of the Republican Party. It's going to strengthen the position of Donald Trump, just like it did when the Republican House was dealing with President Bill Clinton. We are going to see the same effect. And in the meantime, the Senate is going to be confirming judges.
They'll be doing their Senate job.
Yes. And even if there's no legislation for them to vote on, because anything that they vote on and send to the House isn't gonna vote on it, and anything the House sends to the Senate's not going to vote on it. But they will be getting their judicial nominations through for the next 2 years. Folks, that's huge. So when I say I really don't give a shit about the House of Representatives, not because I expect them to do any work, but because I think that the boost it's going to give to President Trump, particularly if the economy keeps going the way it's going, the boost it's going to give to President Trump and to the Republican Party, and the judicial nominations we're going to continuously get through in the meantime, it's going to far outweigh any short-term annoyances that they're going to be pissing us off with on a regular basis.
Well, and everything is cyclical, and that's why I look at the midterms and suggest to everybody, take a breath. It's no major loss. It happens generally that the off party makes big gains,
and that did not happen.
Well, they
here.
made some gains. I think we got how many seats? We got maybe 8 seats. Plus, I think the Dems are plus 8, right around in there in the House.
Mm-hmm.
And we're, with all the stuff that's going on in Florida and Texas, okay, we lost Cinema One over McSally, and so we're just going to have to suck that up like a buttercup. But we're going to keep Florida, and we're going to keep Rick Scott, and we're going to keep the Senate in Florida too, despite all the craziness that's going on down there. So I think you're right. People are going to get really pissed off about that, because just as with the Mueller investigation, which I'm hearing everything, unless you're hearing something different, is going to wrap up very soon. And what do we have out of the Mueller investigation? See, once Mueller closes this out, then you won't have Mueller to kick around anymore. And that aspect of Trump, Russia, election, blah, 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 that's done.
Goes away.
That's gone. So that's an issue off the table.
Yep.
Because you and I both know two Hells Angels can keep a secret if one is dead. And that's true for D.C. D.C. leaks like a sieve. Mm-hmm. And so if there were anything of true, honest, staggering substance with regard to Trump and Russia,
the election,
blah, 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 Mueller would have found it.
And we'd have heard about it.
And
somebody would have been so freaking excited.
Oh, they would have peed their pants to get out and leak that to someone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, look at Strzok, look at Page, look at everything that they did.
Mm-hmm.
So we already know, clear-thinking individuals know, that's not going to be an issue. Now, that's not to say that the House is not going to start another series of investigations.
You know they are.
Quite on the exact same topic. Trump, Russia.
Finances. You know they're
that's going to happen.
Taxes. They're going to pull his tax records.
But they can't go back to the Mueller well once he issues a report. And I think, what do we have so far out of Mueller? And the only thing that we're going to get anymore, I think, are continuing crimes of process. That's all we've gotten so far, crimes of process.
Mm-hmm.
And then, who's the guy that used to write for InfoWars? Oh, Jerome Corsi. People are saying that Jerome Corsi, he may get an indictment. I'm not sure what for. I haven't quite heard about what that might be. But, okay, he could be the last individual under the gun. Okay, fine. Then it's dead. I think it's a dead issue.
I agree. I think so. I think so too. So
you run, the Democrats run the risk, and it's like a rattlesnake. It's like the story about the what was it? The turtle carrying the rattlesnake across the river, and at the very end, the rattlesnake bites the turtle, and in the process of the turtle dying, the turtle says, "Look, I just helped you out. Why'd you bite me?" And the rattlesnake said something similar to, "Well, it's my nature." It's the nature of the Democrats to continue to push left and push the envelope as much as they possibly can, because they believe to their core, their very political core, that is a winning tactic. And only by going further left will we begin to score points. I say that's a losing tactic.
Yeah, I agree. And so then my next point, I know we're about 2 minutes from a break.
Yep.
Does Nancy Pelosi...
Scorpion, thank you, BTB.
Does Nancy Pelosi get the gavel? Is there enough resistance in her party to allow... So is it possible... let me ask you a question. Is it possible to have, if Nancy Pelosi is running for Speaker of the House and the Republicans galvanize against one person for Speaker of the House, and they vote, and enough Democrats fail to vote for Nancy Pelosi, is it possible to still have a Republican Speaker of the House?
You know, that's a good question. What I do
because
now
do you remember when Boehner was running for Speaker of the House? If I'm remembering my history correct, my recent history correctly, sometimes I don't because I drank a lot. There was talk about Pelosi keeping the gavel because Boehner would not have had the votes to become Speaker. Am I misremembering that?
No, I'm fuzzy on that as well.
You should research it while we go to break, and then you should answer my question.
Okay, but I'll jump right on top of that. One thing that I do know is that either today or yesterday, there's a letter that's been floating around the Democrat side, signed by 17 people in the House, indicating that they do not want Nancy Pelosi. And if you think that getting on Nancy Pelosi's bad side is a good idea, and these are not people with great seniority. These are younger members of the House that are upset with Nancy Pelosi. And quite frankly, it's because they all believe that she is insufficiently left for the left. They also believe that Dianne Feinstein is insufficiently left for the left. With that, we're going to go to break. We're going to come right back. Folks, you're listening to the Sackheads Against Tyranny. I'm Sackheads BZ. Over there is Sackheads Clint.
Hello.
Don't go nowhere.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show. Also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capitol, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplanestalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the unpleasant blind guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Hey guys, it's Sackhead Clint. I'm excited to tell you about a brand new show here on the SHR Media Network. I'm teaming up with the one and only all-powerful, the bloviating Zeppelin, sitting here to my left, bringing to you a fresh new show here on the network. It's Against Tyranny. And we'll be picking up where the Sackheads left off. Excited to be with you, sir.
Sackheads against tyranny.
We're going to chat. We're going to chat Wednesday nights.
SHAT.
Sackheads Against Tyranny.
Wednesday nights, 11 p.m. Oh, it's the same time, right? 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific.
Same SAC time, same SAC channel.
Yep. SHRmedia.com.
See what I did there?
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Hey, BZ. So the plan's working. You got rid of Sacco. Sean is now stepping away.
I never even saw him.
And I know, and insidious. You know, we talked about this for, for the last 3 years, and finally coming to fruition.
You know I'm still in the room, right?
It's almost like he's here still. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's kind of...
It's amazing. It's kind of
at you.
It's kind of eerie.
Kind of a poltergeist.
Like a poltergeisty thing.
Yeah, Sackheads Against Tyranny.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You're listening to the Sackheads Against Tyranny. It's Wednesday, November the 14th already. Thanksgiving? My God, Thanksgiving is next week. Thanksgiving is next Thursday.
Yeah.
Holy crap, how does that happen?
Every year.
Are you staying in town for Thanksgiving, by the way? And have you ever done the let's see, what is it when you put the turkey in the oil? Have you ever done that?
Deep fried a turkey?
Deep fried a turkey?
No.
And if you deep fried a turkey, did you think that it was a great idea to do it on the living room carpet?
Yes.
Because every year, folks, remember, every year you can take this to the bank. You're going to hear stories next Thursday about houses burning down because some dimwit decided, some Darwinian genetic mutant decided that, in Rio Linda, for example, that they're going to go and they're going to get their big pot of oil. And they're going to light that baby up, and it's going to be in the garage or in their house somewhere. There'll be a roof somewhere over it or some kind of a shed. And that bad boy will catch fire, and then there'll be a close-up of somebody interviewing, the persons where a smoldering house used to be, and they'll say something similar to, I didn't know that you couldn't put, if you deep fry a turkey, I didn't know that I couldn't put it on my living room carpet with my shag rug. Every year. We were talking on the break, and you made a highly interesting discovery about the speakership and how it is that you get the speakership and some of the rigmarole that goes on to how you elect a speaker. What did you discover, Sir Sackheads Clint?
Anybody in the House can vote for anybody for speaker.
I had no idea.
It's just whoever has the most votes becomes speaker. So it's possible. What's the balance of power in the House of Representatives right now? Do you have it? I don't have it up right now. I don't remember what the total count was. So it is possible in the House of Representatives for, let's say, Nancy Pelosi, or if we're going to keep this totally fictitious, we'll call her Schmancy Schmamosi.
Right.
Okay. And it's possible for that person to run for Speaker of the House.
Sure.
And it's possible for somebody else on the Republican side, or the Republicans not even run, right? Just get together. Every single Republican says, we're voting for this person for Speaker of the House, which the Republicans are foolish if they're not doing that right now at this moment. So so let's say the difference is, I don't know, 16 seats.
Okay, all right.
Let's just say. And let's say that all the Democrats vote for Nancy Pelosi except for 17.
Okay, well, theoretically then, what could happen?
And every Republican votes for Sackhead BZ. Wow. Sackhead BZ becomes Speaker of the House as a Republican.
Wow, you honor me.
I do.
I feel grandly honored.
Well, you knighted me. You said, Sir Sackhead Clint, so I can redo the favor by
thank you very
elevating
much.
you to Speaker of the House.
I did, so thank you.
Third in line. Second in the line of succession.
Yep. Why wouldn't I be?
Yeah. We'll be, right? President, Vice President, Speaker of the House.
Well, this letter, if I can get the phone to unlock. Representative Kathleen Rice, Democrat of New York, confirmed the letter yesterday where 17 people were against Pelosi's leadership. And
how many?
17 people.
Oh,
there were
man, that's
17
weird.
people on a letter that were against Pelosi. And they said they would pledge to vote against her when the full chamber elects the next speaker January 3rd. So mark your calendar, January 3rd. There may be a potential momentous battle in the House to see who the speaker might be. And this person, Kathleen Rice, said that as of today, there were still 17 names on that letter, and the aide was not authorized to discuss the letter publicly and spoke on condition of anonymity. Right.
I see an enemy.
And I saw an enemy coming in today. The enemy is in the air right around here in Sacramento anyway. The enemy is the air, thick as thieves. Like someone said in chat, you could chew the air coming to work today. So we got a ton of other stuff that we can talk about. We can talk about
Acosta.
the creepy porn lawyer.
He's a dirtbag. Let's talk about Acosta.
We can talk about the creepy porn lawyer. Oh, we could talk. Let me ask you this. I'm going to throw this out there. I swear to God, we are going to get to Jim Acosta.
Okay.
I swear it on my mother's grave. We will get to Jim Acosta.
Okay. What was
but
that?
I got to ask you this, because Jim Jordan was lobbying long and hard.
He was
for the
minority leader.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't see this coming. This just happened today, where Kevin McCarthy pulled the rug out from Jim Jordan, who I know was really trying to get that position.
I'm disappointed.
And I thought that Jim Jordan was gonna have the House minority leadership, and I really hadn't factored much about Kevin McCarthy, which tells you a lot about Kevin McCarthy. Apparently, he has an assload more
Juice.
Let's see. It was, oh my God, I don't know if you.
It was a landslide.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the numbers on this, because
Yeah.
I'm looking at the numbers right now. The numbers were a 159 to 43 vote over and against basically Jim Jordan. It's a secret ballot, but it appears that Jordan get much support behind the House Freedom Caucus.
I have a conspiracy theory.
So what the hell was up? I mean, basically the House Freedom Caucus were all in for Jim Jordan, but that wasn't enough. Clearly, by 159 to 43. Holy crap. That's a stomp. That's a big stomp.
I have two takes on this, and I'm not saying either one are correct. That's my caveat.
All right.
Take number one. They're all going to rally behind Jim Jordan for Speaker of the House. See what I did there?
Okay. After that, I should have seen that coming. I really should have seen that coming.
You should have.
I should have seen that coming.
You should have.
After what you just said.
The take number two. The Republicans are still scared of hard right conservatives. Given the fact that they just lost the House of Representatives, I think they are misreading the lay of the land, because Mr. Jordan should be the minority leader, in my opinion. So I think the Republicans are again misreading the lay of the land. I think Mitch McConnell pulled his head out of his ass, and he understands the power that Trump has. I think that he has done in the last.
He has done yeoman's work.
Yes, he
in
has.
about the past 6 months or so, and this is me saying something untoward that you will not hear, that you haven't heard from me up until now. I think Mitch McConnell did yeoman's work for who was the guy that the Democrats were proffering in for Neil Gorsuch? I can't think of that. And basically, what he did is he smushed that bad boy because of the election.
Yep.
And
Garland.
Thank
Merrick
you.
Garland.
Merrick Garland. And I think he did yeoman's work in terms of Neil Gorsuch. And I think he also did yeoman's work in terms of Brett Kavanaugh. I mean, I don't know about you, but I was starting to think that Brett Kavanaugh was going to be a damn squeaker.
Look,
I mean, it was a squeaker, but I thought it was going to be even worse than that.
Look, I think that Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump have obviously had some issues, but on the big issue, which is the judiciary, like it or not, the judiciary is key, particularly right now. The left has known this for years. And I think
they strategize so much better.
They do. And I think that Donald Trump realizes this. And I think Mitch McConnell has gotten on board and has seen some of the writing on the wall and has understand that the Republican Party has shifted and understands what Trump appeals to. And look, Trump, I understand that. And I'm not saying Mitch McConnell is the greatest thing ever. However, look, Mitch has done a hell of a job and has been really pushing through Trump's, I don't want to say Trump's bidding, but has really been helping Trump lot.
He's been helping the agenda.
A lot. He has done his part, for sure. So
I have some thoughts on that, but finish.
You do?
Yeah. Two people, Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham, and I think that one of the reasons that you're seeing, just as you quite rightly point out, that I think Mitch McConnell is starting to come around a little bit, because now, just with me and the fires, etc., this crap has been personalized now twice on two occasions that I'm aware of, where Mitch McConnell was basically assaulted by leftists.
Yep.
And I don't know if you know, but I can't call him a cripple, but the dude doesn't walk real well. So he's a frail individual, and trying to beat up on Mitch McConnell is like trying to beat up on a 5-year-old. That really doesn't work. So I think that's been personalized and internalized by Mitch McConnell, and I think he's made a little bit of a turn in the road. Secondarily, I think you clearly now see, especially after Kavanaugh, the other person who's
Lindsey Graham.
Yes, who has also come to terms, and it's been a tough, long road, I think, for him to do that.
The Kavanaugh hearings was his breaking
point. The Kavanaugh hearing was, in fact, his breaking point.
Absolutely.
When he realized that whatever, and he mentioned this specifically in this 10-minute oration that was completely extemporaneous and spontaneous on his part in the Senate Judiciary Committee hearing room about Kavanaugh.
There was true emotion there.
He was deeply, I won't say offended. He wasn't offended, but I think he was hurt. I think he was hurt, yes. That some of the people that he thought he could heretofore speak to and count as maybe not good friends, but people that he could carry on conversations with and maybe slap their backs and maybe have a
professional relationship.
Have some kind of a professional relationship with. With the Kavanaugh hearings, that went out the door. Yeah. So I think those two men in particular, and I say I hate that it had to happen like that, but I think essentially it's a good thing that he's coming around, because Lindsey Graham, we were talking about Jeff Flake, John McCain. There was one show where and it was after John McCain died, and bad on me. Okay, well, I don't really care. Where I gave John McCain an up and down, and John McCain, Jeff Flake, Lisa Murkowski, they're two things that I've said that I value in perpetuity in politics and in life: honesty and clarity. If John McCain, Jeff Flake, and Lisa Murkowski had simply said, very simply, look, I think I identify really more with the Democrat Party, so you Republicans are okay, but I think I'm going to go over to the Democrats because that's really where I've finally decided my allegiance lies, and my platform and my personal philosophies and thoughts are not necessarily with the Republican. Now, if you'd said that, I would have said to John McCain and Flake and to Murkowski et al., all the various rhinos, thanks for being honest. People don't remember that John McCain attempted to hold the Republicans hostage, saying that he was going to go over to the Democrats.
I remember that.
In like 2000, 2001, 2002, right around in there, because after all, it's all about John McCain.
Yes, I remember that. I would have been more impressed if they'd have just said, hey, you know what? I have some ideals where I go on this side, but I identify a lot on this side too. I'm going to be an independent, like Bernie Sanders.
Or that, sure.
I'm going to go independent, and I'll caucus with the Republicans, or I'll caucus with the Democrats, but I'm going to be an independent. Okay.
Yeah, and it's going to be it'll be in terms of it'll be by issue.
Yes.
I might like this issue over here. I might like this issue over here. So I'm going to be an issue-motivated individual. Mike in chat says throw Susan Collins in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I was thinking, because Susan Collins came to my mind, but Susan Collins in the Kavanaugh hearing kind of did the Republicans a solid.
Yes, she did.
And I'm sure, though I haven't heard about it, I'm sure she took a lot of crap from people having done that. Now, she's not in no man's land, and I have a pretty good idea where she's going to go in the future, but I can't really throw her on the bonfire just yet, because knowing who she is and what she's voted for in the past, I'll throw out there that it took some guts to say what she said under circumstances like that.
Yeah.
And bottom line, I understand it's all about politics, and she could change tomorrow, and she could do something equally stupid, silly, or fattening that I would despise. Entirely possible. Any thoughts?
No, look, I agree with you, but I'm like I said, I think that there are those in the Republican Party that are kind of starting to see the light and the good of what Trump is trying to do. I had this conversation with somebody the other day, and
see, and that goes back to what you said earlier. Is some people were saying, maybe me, maybe you as well, bring on the stupidity, Democrats. Bring it on.
Yes, bring it on.
Because look, like that rattlesnake, you can't help yourself. I know you can't help yourself.
I think that I forget where I was going to go with this. Okay. Yeah, damn it. I was freaking so amazing too. It was going to be great. Here. I had this conversation with somebody the other day, and look, I may piss some people off, but I don't care, right? Because that's what I do.
That's
I don't
who
give a
you
shit.
are. It's who you are.
I said, you know what? There are things. I try and look for good in everybody, at least in some degree, right? Something positive that I like about that person, don't like about that person, or whatever. I can go to as far like to Bill Clinton and say, you know what, that guy was a fucking dirtbag in his personal life, but as a president, he wasn't incredibly horrible. He did some things. He worked with Newt Gingrich in the Congress. He moved more to the center after his first year or two in office or whatnot. Okay, so I could say that. I can say that while I absolutely disagreed with Barack Obama and almost every single thing politically and policy-wise that he stood for, I never heard of anything about him being a philanderer or about him being a horrible father.
True.
Or about him being overtly rude or discourteous to somebody. Or anything like that. Now, I may disagree with his opinions, his characterizations and overgeneralizations about certain people and individuals and whatnot, but as a man, not as a politician, but as a person, he seems like a nice guy. I haven't heard anything to the contrary with him. With Donald Trump, look, I really like a lot of his policies. I think he is an incredibly intelligent individual. You don't get to be where you are by not being intelligent.
No, he could have easily have driven all the money that he got and that business into the ground, but didn't.
Yeah, and not only that, Donald Trump does not need the fucking headache of being president of the United States and getting constantly attacked. He doesn't. I really think,
but I think he likes it.
I think he likes it, but
I think he likes the sport.
I think he likes he does. I think Donald Trump ran for president not as a prize, and he certainly has a huge ego. There's no doubt about that. Oh. But I think he's losing money by being president of the United States, and I think he ran because he genuinely believes that politics was screwed up. I believe that. And you look at the nuances of some of the things he says and does, and when he's talking just kind of naturally and off the cuff, his statements and those little innuendos lead me to believe that. You may not believe that. Our chat folks may not believe that. I believe that. But if he had Obama's eloquence and grace, but his policies and his tenacity and his desire to serve, I think Donald Trump has a true desire to serve, whereas Barack Obama was more about the power and the position
and how you could serve him
how you could serve him.
You could be a useful tool to him.
Yes, and his agenda. again, not taking anything away from the man as a husband or a father or anything like that.
No, I think
just
he's probably a great family
yeah,
guy.
Just I'm talking in terms of the job of the president.
Right.
If Donald Trump could rein back like that freaking tweet about the wildfire in California too soon. You know what I mean? Time and a place too soon. Call California out on its shit, absolutely. But don't do it while people are dying and losing their homes and have missing loved ones.
Well,
right?
Timing is everything.
Timing is everything.
And he can be, just like lots of other people, he can be tone deaf.
He can. And if he were a little bit less tone deaf, he would win in a freaking landslide in 2020.
I know exactly what you're saying. I'm of two minds about it. The first reaction to that is, wait a minute, why is the thing not on me? Okay, there we go. Because it's all about me. My first reaction was, but wait, BZ, Clint is wrong because that's why we hired him. We hired him because he's the damn bull in the china shop, and we regale in all the china and the pieces and the shards that he's breaking all through the shop. And then I said, wait a minute. Back up a little bit. Doesn't Clint have a little bit of a valid point here? Is if we could get the bull part along with some tempering in some of the verbosity and the tweets, then perchance we could have the ideal character, because I'll be the first to say, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, I am now to the point where I'm going by deeds, not words. Mm-hmm. I expect that he's going to say stupid shit.
Yes.
And just the stupid shit part is enough to put to make people put this category over here. Well, I don't care what he does. I don't give a crap about what he does. He could be the saving grace. He could be Christ incarnate, come down, part the seas, and because of what he says, I will always be against him.
Yes, and I think that's where
and I think that's where the Never Trumpers are, where a whole lot of people are, because it's the verbosity and the words that he utilizes that alienates a lot of people. But I have to have gotten to the point, because I was dragged kicking and screaming into voting for Trump. Cruz was my guy. That was no secret. In 2016, I've been dragged kicking and screaming because he's the first president I can think of who's really making good on what it is that he wanted to sell us in the first place.
Ronald Reagan was the last.
You don't see presidents doing what they say.
You don't. And
that's so.
So I want to capitalize on what you said for a moment. And I'm
so unpolitical.
It is. I'm not talking about talking about taming the bull at all. I want him, because I agree with you. That is some of the things we love about him. He's not going to take people's bullshit. But sending a tweet out like that isn't not taking somebody's bullshit. That's being fucking stupid. That's saying something stupid that's going to affect and hurt a lot of people who are going through shit. So take that bull out of the china shop and treat him more like a rodeo bull. Keep him in the chute. He's on. He's ready to go. And when it's time to open that chute and fuck CNN. I hope you can hold on for 8 seconds. That's what we like, that rodeo right there.
Yeah, a good analogy. I like that.
That's what we need, and that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about gelding him. I'm not talking about making the man a eunuch and where he's just all, stoic all the time, or a presidential quote unquote. No. He needs to be a bull. That's just who he is. But he can't always be in that china shop. He's always in the china shop. Take him out of the fucking china shop.
Yeah, and on that, we're going to go to a break, folks. It's the last half hour of the SHOT Show. It's all gone by so quickly. Go nowhere, because we're going to be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show. Also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capitol, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplainstalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Hey guys, it's Sackhead Clint. I'm excited to tell you about a brand new show here on the SHR Media Network. I'm teaming up with the one and only all-powerful, the bloviating Zeppelin, sitting here to my left, bringing to you a fresh new show here on the network. It's Against Tyranny. And we'll be picking up where the Sackheads left off. Excited to be with you, sir.
Sackheads against tyranny.
We're going to chat. We're going to chat Wednesday nights.
SHAT.
Sackheads against tyranny.
Wednesday night, 11 p.m. Oh, it's the same time, right? 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific.
Same SAC time, same SAC channel.
Yeah. SHRmedia.com.
See what I did there?
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Hey, BZ. So the plan's working. You got rid of Sacco. Sean is now stepping away.
I never even saw him.
And I know, and insidious. You know, we talked about this for a good for the last 3 years, and finally coming to fruition.
You know I'm still in the room, right?
It's almost like he's here still. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's kind of.
It's amazing. It's kind of
at you.
It's kind of eerie.
Kind of a poltergeist.
Like a poltergeisty thing.
Yeah, Sackheads against tyranny.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
It's the final 25 minutes of Wednesday's show, the Sackheads against tyranny. And thanks to everybody that's still in chat. Thanks to Simone and Dave and Mike. And Clint is super rad and Beantown Billy and one viewer. So you just decided to change the aspect of your camera. The aspect of the camera. We were talking, again, off cam during the thing. It's like 90 minutes. Where the hell did 90 minutes go? It's like two it's almost like it's the fastest 2 hours in radio. I don't remember who said that before. Maybe it was me.
It might have been you.
But we were talking and saying that, yeah, all of a sudden we looked up and it's 25 minutes before the end of the show. Holy moly. Well, we talked about Pelosi. We talked about a whole bunch of stuff. What do you want to chat about next? We talked about Jim Jordan.
You want to talk about Acosta?
Yeah.
Or is he not worth our time?
Poor Jim. Poor Jimmy. This is interesting. God, do I? Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm going to see if I can find that cut because it's worth playing. And if, as I'm going searching for this on YouTube so I can play the audio, maybe you can chat a little bit and engage about CNN and Acosta and Trump, and I can see if I can go find that audio cut.
So, essentially, Trump was holding a press conference, and he called on Jim Acosta, of course, and he answers Acosta's questions, and Acosta keeps trying to interrupt him, and basically starts lecturing the president. And Trump tries to call on somebody else to give somebody else the opportunity to ask a question, and Acosta refuses to give up the mic, and then a White House intern goes to get the microphone from Jim Acosta. He refuses to give it up. Trump called him rude, like the rudest man, or I forget the exact quote. Do you remember what he called him, BZ?
He said he was very, very rude.
Very, very rude, which he is. He's an asshole. And so...
Well, and he's pedantic. All he wants to do is lecture the president. He's really not interested at all in... He'll lob the occasional question.
Yeah, he wants to grandstand more than he wants to get information. Hey, go take an opinion show on CNN. You know, don't bill yourself as a non-biased journalist, because that's bullshit. So the White House pulled his press pass, and now CNN is suing the White House, and I think they've even named the 2 Secret Service agents who took his press pass away. I mean, the guys are fucking doing their job, and they get named in the lawsuit. CNN's a bunch of dicks, and so they're suing them, and like Sanders and Trump, everybody's getting sued. So people are kind of the press pool from the White House are upset. Fox News is filing a friend of the court
in sympathy
brief
with Acosta.
They are. Look, and I know that, Fox News is like, well, gosh, if this president can do this to Acosta, what could they do to us? And I don't remember, but do you remember when Fox News was going to be barred from the Obama White House?
Right, exactly. See, what people fail to remember is that Obama did everything like this and more with journalists, and wouldn't let them certain places, and wouldn't let them into certain events completely, not just a person, but all
of the media. So I think CNN actually came to Fox News's defense on that, which maybe explains why Fox News is running to Acosta's defense. But here's the difference. One was attempting to exclude an entire network from access. CNN has, I forget how many other, 3, 4, 5 other reporters inside the White House that have access. Not only, so they're not excluding CNN as a whole. They're excluding
just one individual. Yes.
And not the press corps as a whole, but one individual. And the question really comes down to, does the media have a right to unfettered access to the White House? Because if the White House can't control if a journalist comes in there and acts out, who's to say that Al Jazeera won't get some radical journalist in the White House because they can't be excluded and something bad happens.
That would be a terrible precedent. Okay, here I've got the audio.
Okay.
This is President Trump in his now historic clash with CNN's Jim Acosta. And by the way, what a lot of people don't realize in here is there's a, you're not going to be able to see the video, but if you've watched it before or seen the scenario, there's a young White House female intern who basically she's doing what Trump said, relinquish the microphone. She attempts to take it from Acosta, and Acosta pulls it back. You know, that's further dickishness as far as I'm concerned. But here's the audio cut.
Here we go. If you don't mind, Mr. President, that this caravan was an invasion. As you know, Mr. President,
I consider it to be an invasion.
As you know, Mr. President, caravan was not an invasion. It's a
lecture.
So yeah, here's Jim Acosta lecturing the president. Where's your question?
A group of migrants moving up from Central America towards the border with the U.S.
This is just this is Acosta being pedantic. That's all.
Thank you for telling me that.
That's not an invasion.
Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN, and if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question, Mr. President. I was going to ask one of the other folks.
That's it.
Okay, he said enough 3 times. Now the intern comes in and grabs the microphone, and he pulls the microphone back from her because, after all, it's all about Jim Acosta.
Enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr.
President, that's enough.
Mr. President, I had one other question, if I may ask.
Now, let me ask you a question, Clint. Do you think any reporter at all would have done anything remotely similar to this during an Obama press conference, sir?
No, because they would have been
not.
labeled a racist,
Yes.
completely disrespectful,
Yep.
unprofessional.
Yep.
Can't believe they'd treat the president with such disdain and disrespect.
Yep, exactly.
On the Russia investigation, are you concerned that you may have
I'm not concerned
indictments-
about anything with
that you
the
may have
Russian
indictments coming
investigation because it's a hoax.
Are you-
That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming
Okay, that's the 5th time he's told by the president to put down the mic.
down in this investigation?
Finally, he relinquishes
Mr.
the
President,
microphone, and it
I'll
goes
tell you what,
to another
CNN should
guy.
be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN.
Perfect. I can't say as I disagree with that.
Yep.
In the slightest.
Yeah. So now there's this lawsuit.
Right. And I think the crux of the biscuit is I think CNN is trying to make a First Amendment issue
Yes,
out
they
of
are.
this.
Yes, they are.
And the White House is saying that CNN basically is not harmed by having a reporter.
Correct.
One reporter, Jim Acosta, barred from having press credentials. My guess would be that's not through eternity, but my guess would be his hard pass. It's what it's called. Has been suspended for a while, and it'll probably be given right back to him.
I hope not. I hope not.
It may not.
I hope not. Look, this guy, he can still report for CNN. CNN still has other reporters in there. It's not like Trump said, we're not putting anybody from CNN in here. But, hey, you're welcome to report on me, but conduct yourself in a proper professional manner. Don't lecture. If you're going to provide a little bit of foundation for your question, that's fine, but then ask a question.
Yes, instead of stepping on board your platform and pontificating in front of the president.
Right.
Did you know, folks, that this has already gone before the court today? Today, Wednesday. Sorry, it's 44 minutes after midnight on the East Coast. But today, this actually reached a Washington courtroom in the afternoon where a U.S. District Judge, Timothy Kelly, a Trump appointee, heard arguments on CNN's request that CNN wants an immediate injunction and to order the White House to reissue Jim Acosta a pass. So now this has gone to the courts. And the judge didn't rule, but he said he's going to come back to the courtroom tomorrow, or for people on the East Coast, today, Thursday, meaning Thursday. So the government lawyer said there's no need to issue an emergency order restoring the press pass since CNN has nearly 50 other journalists credentialed to cover the White House, and the network isn't damaged.
And that's
so
true.
Is this a First Amendment issue, or is this an issue of who gets to make the decision?
That's what it's an issue for.
In terms of who we let into the House, into the White House, and who we let into the press briefing.
Yep.
Because not everybody. I don't know, folks, if you have ever seen that press room where they give the briefings, but the perspective from cameras makes it look a hell of a lot bigger than it is. Actually, in truth, because I've seen it, it's incredibly small. People are packed ass to tea kettle together in that thing. It's not very wide at all. It's a little bit longer than it is wide, and it's a very small room. So only a select number of people can't even fit in the damn room. So even because, if for no other reason than the size of the room, there's an assload of reporters who theoretically could make the same argument as to, well, why can't I come in that room? Why can't every reporter from
SHR Media,
from SHR go in there? There's 3 reporters, me, you, and Sean. Why can't we get press credentials to go in there? There's got to be some control somewhere, and who makes that control and that decision? That would be the White House. First Amendment, no one is stopping Jim Acosta's First Amendment right. He can go hop right back into CNN, put his face in front of the camera, and say all the silly, stupid, and fattening shit that he wants to about President Trump.
Yep.
So this is, to my way of thinking, there is no First Amendment issue here. But it'll be interesting to see today, tomorrow, Thursday, how this sorts out. Even if it does sort out. It might not even sort out tomorrow.
Either way, it's going to go to the appeals court. Either way, it's going to go to SCOTUS.
Either way, it's just...
This is Dave, you 100%, Dave, I agree. It's going to go to the appeals court and up to SCOTUS. It is. You know it is.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, that's like President Trump's... he was going to make an executive order about not letting asylum seekers in because of the caravan. And people were saying, oh, that's terrible, that's mean, that's horrible, that's nasty. No, I think what President Trump was going to do was force the issue up to SCOTUS.
Yeah, it's lawful.
That's how you do these things now.
And did you notice the last couple issues we talked about? We talked about SCOTUS and the courts. Brings us right back to why the Senate is so important.
Yep.
And why the fact that Republicans kept and expanded their hold on the Senate is so important.
Well, and that gets back. You have to step back and take a bigger umbrella view, which unfortunately I don't think the Republicans have the ability to have a long range overarching view of where it is that they want to do or be, or like Sinatra said, Scooby-Dooby-Doo. I don't think they have that ability. Now, the Democrats certainly do, because let me throw something out here to you, Clint, and you tell me if I'm way screwed up.
Like in general, or just on this point?
On this point, or in general, too. We're good friends. You can tell me whatever the hell you want. I think what's occurring in Florida is the Democrats are trying to see just how far they can get away with screwing an election. And we all know anybody with a square head on their shoulders realizes that the Democrats, by way of Brenda Snipes in Broward County, is trying to cheat in any way that she could possibly get away with. She's done it before. She will do it again. Basically, a court has already said that what she has done is specifically unconstitutional. People have been afraid. Let me be blunt if I can. People have been afraid to touch her because she's an older black woman. Okay, her melanin count is higher than me, and she's an aged female. I'm an aged fat guy, but her aged blackness trumps my aged whiteness. So people have been hesitant to say anything bad about Brenda Snipes until it's gotten to the point where everything is falling apart. Let me pose a question. How is it that in Florida, every other county in Florida manages to not cock up everything like Broward County? All the rest of the counties in Florida managed to get their votes in, managed to make counts, etc. We've seen this before in Broward County, and unless they get her butt out of there, they're going to see it again.
Because Broward County has the population to make up for the margin of votes if it's within so many in a tight race, and they will lie and cheat and steal, I think, to get the election that they want any way they possibly can. I don't know why she's not in jail. I really don't know why this lady is not in. Thanks, Dave. I just actually read your post. Dave said, "Jail the bitch." I don't know why she's not.
And the people that are supporting her are saying that she mixed in basically illegal ballots, and people now specifically the official point, the talking point in Florida in Broward is, well, it's judgmental to not count all the ballots, so we'd rather count ballots that we think may be illegal rather than not include one good valid ballot. That's insanity.
Yes, it is.
That's insane. But this, trust me when I say this, this is again another testing ground, and Broward County is being used as a test bed to see how far Democrats can push, because Hugh Hewitt was absolutely right when he wrote his book, and it said, if it ain't close, they can't cheat.
Yep.
And this is a gnat's eyebrow going on right now, and that's why the Democrats are cheating.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot convince me otherwise.
And they tried it. They tried it with Bush Gore too.
Oh God, yes. Oh God, yes. You know, it's like all the illegal immigrants. People, I still hear people on various talk show programs saying that there are 11 million illegals in the nation. We are a nation of 330 million, or 333 million, roughly, individuals in the United States of America. 11 million are illegal. Well, no, actually that's been doubled. 22 million of the people that are in the United States right now are illegals.
And some of them are voting.
And many of them are voting. Do you remember, Sackheads Clint, the margin of error between the popular vote of Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump?
It's about 2 million.
About 2 million. Now, out of that 2 million, how many do you think were illegals that voted in California? Wait. BZ thinks he knows. At least 1 million. Because California doesn't check and California doesn't care. And major cities that are the highly populated areas.
Like San Francisco.
Like New York, like Houston, like Atlanta, like D.C., like Detroit, like Chicago, that are all run by leftists. Want to make sure that they do not vet votes at all. And if you got some illegal votes in there, or people that have been dead for 35 years, who cares?
That's one vote.
I submit what happened is that Trump won the Electoral College, and I truly believe that he also won the popular vote.
The lawful popular vote.
Yes, thank you. The caveat, the lawful popular vote. And I think you're completely correct, going back to the beginning of the show, where you said that the Democrats are going to go out of their way to make sure that they stick a pin into the balloon that they're creating right now that is going to essentially lead to Trump coming into 2020. And there are a lot of people that are saying, and folks in chat, weigh in on this, or folks that are listening live, or
I bet
people
Trump's
that are
just happier than shit right now.
Listening in podcast right now. Folks are saying, well, Trump has already alienated so many people. Okay, the big question would
really,
be,
then how do you explain what just happened in the United States Senate?
Yeah, see, again, people are not referring to history. People are not understanding purposely what has happened historically in terms of midterms, which have generally the worst attendance, and both sides were pumped up. I think we could have won if more Republicans had gotten out to vote, because getting Republicans to go out to, and I still think this is a basic tenet of the Republicans, as opposed to the Democrats. Republicans have jobs. They actually have to go out and work for a living, so they don't have the luxury of being able to protest or burn crap or tear things down. They're busy paying taxes for the people that are burning crap
shit
and tearing stuff down.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So I think that's so. Prognostications for 2020, because here I am wearing my Trump 2020 hat right
Look,
now.
there is no excuse for anybody not voting. With vote by mail options, with everything, there is zero excuse.
Yeah, aliens from Zephron, from the planet Zephron, they're voting. Just, I mean, I heard of 2 votes in Chicago where aliens from Zephron came down. And they'll take it. Little green guy, who cares? You know.
Yeah, whatever, right?
Yeah, it's like again in Broward County, you got a ballot and you don't even look to see if it looks like the signature because they said specifically, oh, we don't care if the signature doesn't look like the one that we have on file. Who cares? Well, that's not an issue. Come on, every vote is a good vote.
And this is why voter ID is huge.
By the way, again, I heard this emphasized. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we got about 4 more minutes before the end of the show. Do you know that voter ID has already gone up to SCOTUS and come down and has been ruled constitutional? Were you aware of that?
I was not. But it makes sense.
That issue has already been up and down and still, yet people refuse to take advantage of that.
Yes, because
it's already been there. It's already done. It's already been adjudicated.
The Democrats don't want it, and the Republicans are too afraid of being called racist.
They quiver in little puddles of pee as they run down their pants
How hard
legs.
is it to get an ID? You need an ID to drink at a bar. You need an ID to... Kids get school IDs.
Yep.
It is not hard to get a legitimate ID. So let me ask you a question. Why is it the federal government does not pass a law, not that we will in the next 2 years, but why is it they won't pass a law requiring a valid identification card for United States citizens to vote in federal elections?
If I'm not mistaken, someone recently was crafting a bill to indicate roughly that they wanted to say that,
hey, if a state, California, if you want to let your illegals vote in your state elections, whatever.
Yeah,
right.
But federally should be completely inviolate.
Yes.
You cannot tink with a federal election.
Yep.
There should be serious consequences. And the big problem with that is that there historically have not been consequences of any significant nature that I'm aware of right now. Well, we got 2 minutes left. And like I said,
Sorry, I had to respond to Dave in chat.
This was 2 hours that seemed like it was about 5 minutes.
Dave said you need an ID to rent a hotel room.
Well, I do. You don't.
I said not if it's by the hour.
Good point. Good point. Well, folks, thanks for tuning in to the SHOT Show, the Sackheads Against Tyranny show. Today, on November the 14th, next Thursday is going to be Thanksgiving Day. Are we going to be here next Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay, we'll be here next Wednesday, folks. Tune in.
Maybe. I forgot. I'm leaving, I think. I don't know.
Okay, all right. We'll let you know later. Folks, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. God bless. Take care. Be safe. Tomorrow night, Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show live and direct with Jeff Dunitz. Don't miss it. Aloha.